The forest guardian peered out from the tree. Kim was leaning against his hiding spot, holding a big old gummy above her mouth. Oh my goodness. The Lorax made a small noise, trying to resist the temptation to snatch the candy right out of her hand. Kim humming a bit as she waited a bit, as she looked left and right a bit. Finally, it was too much for the little orange spirit lunging out of his hiding place in a poop of leaves and dirt. The Lorax tried to snatch at the gummy worm in Kim's hand. Kim soon raises her hand as she saw his orange paw reach out as she turned around. Aha, found ya, smiles. He let out a growl and jumped up to try and grab the candy again. Lorax, gimme! Kim laughing a bit as she smirked at him. Okay, okay. Soon lowered her hand, holding down the gummy. Here you go. Lorax, thank you. Takes the gummy from her and puts it in his mouth, chewing a bit before swallowing. Well, I guess you found me. Kim, yep, and clever to find you using a gummy to lure you out. Yeah. Do you know where Onceler is hiding by chance? Lorax looking around, no idea, probably hiding with Pip, wherever he is. Okay. Kim, I'll find him eventually. Besides, how hard is it to find a tall tree legs like Onceler? Okay. Lorax laughing a bit. That's true. Although as skinny as he is, he might be able to squeeze into who knows where. Kim laughing a bit. Yeah, you're right. Well, I better go find him before he slips into a hole just his size. Soon rushes off to go look for him. Meanwhile, in a grove of truffula trees, there was one tree in particular that had a pair of shoes.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Oh my, a bear of shoes. This is not a clump, not even a shoe, a bear of shoes near the base of it.
I can't pair
had,
the
some,
story anymore.
had someone left their shoes by the. Wait a minute. The shoes are attached to the tree. Kim walked into the grove looking around for the Onceler. Kim looking around for the Onceler. What the fuck? Inception. She looked left and right. I knew he has to be around here somewhere, looking behind a truffula tree. Where can a tall guy like him be likely to hide it? If it was behind a tree, he'd be easy to spot. Just then, she heard a small giggle coming from somewhere behind her. Eh, but as she turned around, the source of the noise was nowhere to be seen. There was nothing but truffulas all around. Kim, looking around. Oh, that was weird. I thought I heard something. She continued looking around, peeking behind trees and bushes around the area where she heard the sound. But the Onceler and Pipsqueak seemed to be nowhere in sight. Kim soon began to head off somewhere else. Where could he be? As she left the grove, a rustle was heard from one of the trees, and just then a clump of black hair poked out of the top of the tufts on a truffula. It was the Onceler's head. Oh my god! And instead of and instead, on hiding in the tufts, he had just gathered a bunch of the fronds and gathered them into one big ball. After hiding his torso in it, his striped pants legs matched perfectly with the truffula's striped trunk, and he had tucked Pipsqueak into a puff with him, now letting the Barbalute poke his head out. Oh god, it's unnecessary. Monster snickering before looking at Pipsqueak, best hiding place ever. Meanwhile, Kim kept checking behind each tree she saw. Yet unknown to her, a tree was moving behind her in the background. The tree crept closer. Quotations. Crept closer, subtly inching toward Kim without her noticing. Oddly enough, the tree appeared to have feet. You don't say. Kim looks behind another tree. Nope, he isn't behind this one either. Looks up. It would be impossible for him to hide up in the tufts. Behind the tree was just a few feet away when Onceler. Well, Onceler disguised as the tree. Oh my god.
By request, Skooma, 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 Skooma.
The Onceler disguised as the tree suddenly lunged forward and wrapped his arms around
Swindle
Kim.
chop that damn truffula. Oh.
Anything, please, something. Practically scaring her to death. Kim, struggling. Help, something's got me. Oh my God. Once whispering in her ear with a growly voice, I'm gonna get you, Kim, and I'm gonna kill you.
Opinion on Hyrule Warriors. A million friggin' times better than this stupid story.
I'm gonna get you, Kim. I'm gonna kill you, and then I'm gonna write a 30-chapter story about you. Kim, eyes widened as she got even more scared as she struggled more. She soon got her left arm free as she was able to reach her right hand fingers to tap a few times as she soon vanished. Really, you couldn't have just fucking punched the tree. Be a man. Punch a tree. All right,
I'm a man! Punch. Old meat is old, but it's better than this story!
looking around in confusion.
Confusion
True.
and delay. Confusion and delay. Confusion and delay. Confusion and
Confusion is
delay.
true. Confusion true his puff of truffula tufts. Huh, Kim? Meanwhile, on top of his tuft, Kim became a fairy as she hid in the tuft, as she thought it was the nearest tree. She peeked out as she looked around, seeing nothing around. But suddenly, the mound of fluff began to move underneath her. It swayed back and forth as it began to move around the grove. Kim, holding onto the tuft. Whoa! Hearing her voice, the Oncer looked up at the top of his ball of tufts. What is this? Is this a song? It's a song, obviously. The Oncer. There you are. Tries to reach up to grab her. Kim, whoa, soon flew up as she dodged the hand. What the? A little confused. God, it's the fucking Oncer, Jesus Christ. Pull it together, Kim. Oncer, jumping up to try and reach her. Kim, get back down here. Kim, soon recognizes the voice. Oncer? Soon smirks as she looks at the tufts that he held. You sneaky little beanpole. So that's where you were hiding. Yeah. It's a fire. Miss me, tree legs. Oncer giggling, and you still never found me. Now get back here. Jumps up again, reaching for her. Kim flying up higher a bit. Haha, missed me. Dodging his hand again. Missed me again. Soon flew off as she laughed, Oncer taking off after her. Kim, stop. Come back here now. Kim, try and catch me, slowpoke. Laughing as she soon flew up into one of the trees. Oncer starting to pant a bit from running after her. Kim looks up at her in the tree. No fair. Jumps up, trying to grab at her high in the truffula
Is this
tuft.
really still going?
Yes, it is. It is going so long. Kim eking up from on top of the tree as she was back to normal as she stuck her tongue at him as she blew him a raspberry. Alright, once they're growling, Kim suddenly has an idea as he puts a hand on his forehead. Kim, I feel. Ugh. His legs suddenly came underneath him, falling onto his back with eyes fluttering shut. Good. Kim, Oncer! Worried now, she soon slided down the tree as she ran to him as she bended down. Oncer, are you okay? Say something. He groaned softly, turning his head slowly. Inside, he was struggling to not let himself laugh. Kim, Oncer, please say something. Looking at him worried. Oncer turning his head to the side. Eyes suddenly shoot open. Gotcha! Suddenly lunges forward and tackles her to the ground behind her. Kim, Oncer, glaring at him angry and concerned. Don't you ever do that to me again. Oncer laughing as he rolled off of her. I'm sorry, I just couldn't resist. I couldn't resist faking my own death and fainting and making you think I was dead. I couldn't resist it. It was obviously hysterical. Kim glaring at him. That was not funny. Yeah. What's laying down on his back? It was hilarious. Your face when I yelled. Kim glared at him as she raised her bracelet up, as she raised a finger to tap one of the charms as she smirked. Oncer unfortunately not noticing, as he was laughing too hard. Why does this sound familiar? And you totally thought I passed out cold on the ground. Ha ha. Kim tapped the charm on a bracelet. Soon the charm glowed as it shows a big ribbon appear, as it soon wrapped around the Oncer's body a bit, as it ended, adding a bow to it as Kim laughed. Was it like fucking Christmas time when you wrote this? This wrapping paper, because Because walls of Subway name tags. Because no one once they're pulling upright to see himself pinned by the ribbon. What? Struggles to get free, not doing much good. Kim. Kim laughing. Ah, now that is funny. No, nothing is funny in this story. Once they're screaming around like a worm on the ground. Okay, rhyme. Kim, get me out of here. Kim, okay, hang on. Soon gets up a bit as she scooted toward him and began to untie the bow. What was the fucking point of this
Big
segment?
lipped alligator moment.
Why are you still asking this for this story? Stop it.
I don't know. I had a little hope. Anything now. It was already gone like 10 minutes ago. The Onceler kept wriggling around frantically, which made it harder for Kim to untie him. Onceler, Kim, hurry up! I've gotta pee! Just hold still, I'm almost there. Continuing to untie him. Finally, she got the now loose. Wait, finally, she got the now loose. No. And the Onceler burst out, "If the ribbon."
What?
Spell check is not your friend.
It wasn't invented at the time of the story. Sitting up straight and brushing off. Oh God. Onceler crossing his arms, he pretended to look angry. That was not nice. Kim, neither was what you pulled on me back there. Ending to be angry as she too crossed her arms. God. Are you guys there?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
Oh God, I still am.
I know, like, it gets like that sometimes where we're just like,
God, Jed is freaking silent. I was like, did you die? Okay. Once they're glaring at
do
her.
something, you freaking story!
Once they're glaring at her, we were playing hide and seek at the time, so it was a game, but you use it. Where was it clear that you
Frank Miller in a bad comic book, like I see him in Kara, because I watched it, because I know his memes, and the story is stupid. It's
Stop it! Stop it! Kim, nor was it fair that you scared me like that from behind and tried to grab me. Glaring at him. Once they're scowling, I was just messing around and then you got scared stiff and turned into Ito.
What? No, you are way too young to remember that.
Kim, I only did it to get away. Of course, I didn't think you'd be a tree I was hiding in.
You call him tree legs and you didn't know that he was free. What kind of sense makes you not sense make?
You realize she's literally just describing what just happened again. Take another fucking alcoholic beverage and shove it in your mouth because God only knows you're gonna need it. Once they're leaning back against the tree, I didn't think you would freak out so much. Kim, I was not freaking out that much. Once they're smirking at her, yeah, you were. If I recall correctly, you said something like imitates her voice. Help, something's got me.
Oh. That's you. That's how dumb you sound.
You should be ashamed of yourself. Him glaring at him, I do not sound like that. I'm a man. Once they're keeping his voice in the same pitch. Oh, yes, you do. Kim glaring at him as she soon imitates his voice. Oh, look at me. I got very long legs like a tree, and I act goofy. Because I'm so punny.
And I am constantly huffing all the reefer.
Once her smile dropping. I do not like to act goofy. What? I don't act like, I'm not fun. And I don't like a tree, scowls at her. Kim, well, your pants are like a truculent tree trunk with the stripes. Because validation.
Say it one more time. Say that one more time. I dare
you. God damn it. Call me asshole one more time. laughing smugly. I know, that's why I chose to disguise myself as a truffle puff.
Do 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 do.
Pretty
Do
clever,
do do do
actually.
do 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 do. Continue. Do 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 do. Okay.
Indeed. No, I was going to the beat of the music. Kim, quite clever indeed. Sure, fooled me when I was looking for you. But where's Pip? Once they're sitting
Doing
up straight.
something stupid, probably. Why? Who cares?
He's hiding behind a bar balloon. I don't know. He was right beside me earlier. Must have gotten bored and run off. Kim, during the middle of our game?
Oh my
How
god.
rude. Looking around. Maybe he went off to hide somewhere else. Once, sir, when I was creeping up to you, he was right there, hiding in the fluff with me. Maybe he jumped out when I was surprising you. Kim, because you startled him when you did that. Come on, let's go look for him. Once, sir, rolling his eyes. Fine. We'll go look for him. Holds out a hand to holds out a hand to her. Help me up. No. Kim reaches out her hand as she grabs his hand as she began to help him up. Tag. At least I didn't stop in the middle of a paragraph this time.
Kim reaches out her hand. Am I at the right spot?
Yes.
Okay. Reaches out her hand as she grabs his hand as she began to help him up. Once they're looking around after he straightened fully. All right. Now where to find Pipsqueak? Kim looking around. He must be hiding in one of the trees, like you were doing, as we have to mention a million times. Which one is the bigger question here? Once they're looking around as well. Yeah, there's a million trees here.
There's a lot of trees.
How do you make these voices? How is this possible?
Kim, we just gotta lure him out in the open somehow, thinking. Once they're trying to think, because he clearly can't.
No, not really.
We could lure him out with your gummies, like you did the Lorax. Because we have to do this trick a million times. Kim, good idea. Soon reaches into her bag as she took out a small bag of gummies. Once they're raising his voice as he dug around in the bag. Oh, it's too bad Pip isn't here to share in these delicious gummies. Kim raising her voice as well. Yeah, gooey, chewy, tasty gummies we have here, and all to ourselves.
What are you doing, a commercial?
Oh my god.
Something, you stupid story.
Displacement.
Once they're pulling one out. Orange, my favorite.
Brought to you by Ooey Gooey Chewy Gummies.
He was just about to put the gummy in his mouth when suddenly a ball of brown fur flew from a truffula tree and snatched it right out of his hand. Kim, giggling. Looks like we found him, smiles. Once they're freakish out a little bit. Ah, Pipsqueak, get off! Shakes his arm around, trying to get the barbaloot off of his hand. Kim, giggling, watching once they're trying to get Pip off his arm. Oh, that's so cute.
Smiles as he gets mauled.
Still shaking his arm frantically. It's not cute. He's clawing. Pipsqueak.
Good.
Can't make a joke in this story because it turns out to be the next line.
And suddenly they all died. Okay, Kate, continue.
And
Kim.
Enstrom.
Oh, walks over. Okay, Pip, let go. Come on, let go. The barbaloot let out.
Don't eat his face.
Barbalootler let out a squeal. Still trying to get the gummy from the Onceler's hand. He thought this was all a game, giggling excitedly. Onceler,
Eyes turning
Pip,
a deep red.
let go. Kim holds up the bag of gummies. Pip, over here. Pipsqueak cooed, unhooking his claws
Bloody
from the man's
claws.
arm to jump down. He scampered over to Kim, looking up at her with big brown eyes. The Onceler cursed under his breath, examining the small red marks on his arm.
Gosh.
Kim bends down to him as she lowered the bag. Now, you know you shouldn't claw to try to get a treat. That is a no-no. Remember that, okay?
You
Ruffles
have to
his hair.
kill your enemies first.
He nodded, reaching up apologetically to her with his paws. Kim picks him up with one arm as she held him. I'll take that as an I'm sorry and I'll say I'll forgive you. pats his head as she held up the bag of gummies for him.
Meanwhile,
Pip
the
squeaks.
Onceler was bleeding to death.
You didn't even like. I forgive
And nobody
you.
cared.
Pipsqueak smiled and reached in the bag to grab out a gummy for himself, chewing on it happily. Kim smiles at him as she placed him down, as she placed the bag away as she walks to Onceler. Are you okay? Onceler holding out his arm to her and muttering, got my wrist kind of bad. Kim, looking at it, let's head back to the house and get that wrapped up. Onceler looking down at it, yeah, that's probably a good idea. Starts walking down toward the house with her. Kim, you know, I'm not very good around blood, at least not my own.
Wow,
This
that was
sounds really
actually
familiar. Did we do this before? Like in another scene? Kim,
In
me
another
either.
universe.
Isn't that this
In a
whole
parallel
story?
world.
I'm pretty sure that's this whole story.
In a parallel world, we've already read this.
Meanwhile, Tom and the Lorax were at the house waiting for the two to come back. As they see them coming back, as Pip was resting on Kim's shoulder. Lorax, about time! We were waiting for you forever! Tom noticing their expressions. Are you two alright? Kim, we're okay. Onceler just had some scratch marks that I have to wrap up. Nothing serious. Tom, nothing serious? You look a bit pale Onceler, it's bleeding. Lorax looking at it. Barely. Tom smiling at him. You mean you've grown up birthing cows yourself, but you can't handle a bit of your own blood?
How the frick did we get the cows? How do we get, like, you're bleeding? Oh, cows!
Because walls of subway name tags. Yeah.
And this is why we summon Bork Laser.
Onceler, it's my blood. It belongs inside my body. Kim.
Yes,
You
Evan,
helped-
do it. Please.
You've helped cows deliver their babies? Looking at Onceler. Onceler looking at her. Of course, we had calves every winter, and they often needed help.
Bork. Sorry.
Kim, help? A little confused. Seriously doing this. Onceler nodding. Yeah, sometimes the cow couldn't get the calf out, and I had to, Kim, eyes widen as she looked quite disgusted. Okay, too much information. I think I get what you're saying.
What is sex? Well, it's when a guy and a girl do this. Oh, that's disgusting.
But I still totally want to bonk the Onceler behind a fern.
Oh, God.
Shut up.
Well, you did
Stan.
ask. Looks down at him, or at his arm, feeling a bit queasy. I should probably go get this wrapped up. Lorax rolling his eyes. You just want to get babied,
He's
Beanpole.
bleeding!
You just want to get freaking rabies.
Onceler, I do not. Kim rolls her eyes a bit. A while later in the house, Kim was finishing wrapping his arm after
Cows,
applying some
K-Dread,
antibiotics
cows.
on it. Kim, there you are. Onceler, thanks, Kim, smiles at her. You're a good bandager. Kim, thanks, smiles. Health was one of the subjects I learned, even first aid. Onceler nodding. Ah, I see. Sorry I'm not a very good patient, laughs weakly. Kim, haha, it's okay, smiles at him as she laughed a bit. Onceler, but what the Lorax said really is true. Kim, you mean acting a bit like a baby? Onceler hunching his shoulders a bit. Well, I don't act like a baby, I don't know. My mom never used to baby me like that, but it's kinda nice sometimes.
God. I like to wear diapers and I like to suckle on bottles in my spare time.
Dang it, why?
Ruined everything.
Also, Evan, get out.
You can't get rid of me. Well, you kind of can, but you love me. I swear to God.
Kim, well, yeah, it's nice sometimes. I mean, as a kid, my mom would baby me here and there.
You baby me everywhere. No.
Onceler, I bet that was nice. Especially when you were sick and stuff, or if you, got a scrape or something. Motions to his bandaged arm. Kim, yeah, smiles a bit. Speaking of your family, I heard from your dad a bit that they'll be coming to visit once they're nodding. Yeah, they're coming to see my home and me. Well, not really, but that's what they said. They really just want to see my dad, or at least my mom does. Kim, I wonder what they'll think of me, because this story is all about me. Once muttering under his breath, "You're a princess. I'm sure they'll love you." Kim
There's no
looking at
reason
him.
whatsoever.
Once I don't want them to like me because I'm royalty. I just want them to like me for who I am, princess or not. Once stepping over to take both her hands in his. I know, Kim, but they're not like that. Kim looking at him. What do you mean? Once looking down. I mean, personalities or dreams or anything like that doesn't matter. What matters to them is how much of a profit you can rake in. Looks at her. They're not at all like my dad. Kim. Wait, you mean they're not kind or caring, nor care about family? Once looking at her sincerely. I couldn't get them to take me seriously. After my mom found out I wanted to invent instead of taking over the farm, I wasn't of use to her anymore, so trails off looking down at his feet. Kim. Wait, did she kick you off the farm? Onceler. Well, yes and no. Yes, she didn't really want me around anymore, but I wanted to leave. I just couldn't stay there any longer.
You're not Schrodinger's cat. Either she kicked you out or she didn't, whether you wanted to leave or not. Jeez.
Kim, so you left home to get away from that? Was that it? Looking at him, a little saddened. Once wrapping his arms around himself. Yeah, that's it. Looks at her with a strained smile. Not the best place to grow up in. I'm sure you can imagine. Kim, I could imagine it. How come you never told me about that? About what your family was like? Once shrugging. I don't know. I just didn't want. I wanted you to think I was normal.
Oh gosh, I'm
Fucking
sorry. I
man.
thought you said once they're. I thought you said once they're shrekking. I was like, what?
He was.
Well,
I'm reading a stupid.
that's wrecked. GG, everyone. GG.
What? Ended what?
Kim, looking at him as she placed her arms around him. You are normal, Onceler, but you're also a special guy, and I don't care where you come from or your family or upbringing. I love
Or
you for
why you
who
have a
you
lazy
are.
eye. You can't seem to hold your lips straight.
Onceler replying in a tiny, whimpering voice. I know, I just don't talk about it much. Brings up too many things I don't want to remember. Sniffles a bit, putting his arms around her as well.
You're a fucking pussy. I swear to God. I'm sorry, but Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. I don't want to talk about it.
Kim.
Okay, Muncie, as long as you never get old and ugly, you'll
Oh
be fine.
gosh.
Yay.
All too close as she was quite saddened to think that his family besides her father treated him so roughly. Well, you know, at least you have one family member that appreciates you and cares about you, and that's your dad. Because unlike your family, he believes in you and your dreams and likes you for who you are, as do all of us. Once resting his head on her shoulder. I know. I can't appreciate him enough for that. And all of you. You're all so caring and so supportive. Kim smiles as she leaned closer to him. You're welcome, Onceler. He sighed softly, relaxing against her with a new complacence. Finally, everything about his family, well, not everything, but a good portion of it, was off his chest. It hurt to talk about it, but it felt like a bar being pulled out of the skin. Once digging his face into her hair. You've always been there for me, Kim. I should have told you.
Week.
I should have told you all this before, but I just didn't want to burden you. You had enough to worry about without learning about my family or my dad or my mom's second husband or any of that.
Because you're a special snowflake and you don't need to know about the real world stuff.
Kim, as you were always there for me. I mean, burden to you either. I remember
Except I was
telling you.
a demanding,
Needy hormonal bitch.
yes!
I remember telling you who I was, but at first you didn't believe me nor my story until you saved me from that
Take a
waterfall.
drink.
And when you took me back to your
Damn
place
it.
and saw my locket with the picture, well, nuzzling close to his chest,
You ruined
tag,
nuzzling. You
tag,
ruined
tag.
Onceler, and finally believed your story, smiles slightly at the feeling of her nuzzling his chest. Kim smiles at him as she was beginning to feel tired after a whole day of collecting tufts and playing hide and seek with everyone. Yawn. Onceler looking at her. Hey, just about time for bed, don't you think? Smiles at her softly. Kim, yeah, after a long day of collecting tufts and our fun game, I'm all tired out. Onceler nodding. Alright, yawn. Starting to get a little sleepy myself. I've told you, because you're not loud! Tag. No, I'm just kidding. Do you wanna stay here tonight with me? Motions to the bed. Kim, that would be fine. Besides, it is starting to get dark out anyway, and it would take a while to get back to town. Onceler, alright, yeah, good point. So stay with me! With me. Again. It's written twice. I don't know why. Or just with me? Oh, okay. Okay. Kim, huh? Looking up at it, what do you mean by that?
Oh my
Onceler rubbing
God.
his head. I mean, where do you want to sleep? Kim, on the couch is fine, smiles. Or the bed, whichever is fine with me. What?
Oh my God, what is this nonsense?
Onceler, well, I kind of feel bad about throwing you out onto the couch, especially now with everything we've been through together. But, I mean, you know. Tries to think of an intelligent way to word it out. Not very successfully because it's written by this author.
The
Kim,
seed
sigh.
condom.
Alright, I'll sleep in your bed then, since it's much nicer and cozier than a couch. Onceler, okay, and I'll sleep on the, since it's trying to think, it's, Kim, it's fine, we can share the bed, but no trying to steal the blanket covers again, okay? Teasing a bit. Onceler, laughing weakly, ha ha ha, alright. I'll make sure it clears his throat. Alright, need to get changed and then bed. Kim, nodding with
Where
a
we're
smile on her
going,
face.
you don't tickets. No.
Aw, yeah. The Onceler pulled away from her, grabbing his pajamas from the dresser and heading into the bathroom to change quickly. Kim, by the way, Onceler, where is your dad? Did he went out on an evening stroll again? Curious. Onceler, calling from inside the bathroom. Probably. He likes taking long walks at night through the valley. Something about stargazing. Soon comes out of the bathroom in his pajamas, normal clothes folded under his arm. You mean looking at the stars? Onceler stretching. Yeah, stargazing. That's what I said. Kim, I like to stargaze too as well. In addition to, also, I indeed very much like... Okay. From my balcony back home each night, when it's clear out, to see all the stars shining so brightly in the night sky. Onceler looking at her curiously. Really? You never told me that. Yeah, my dad's always been into the constellations and stuff like that. Kim, that's pretty neat. Does he have a favorite constellation? Onceler shrugging. Not sir, I don't think so. At least not as far as I could tell from way back then. He just seemed to like all of them, especially annual constellations.
Parentheses, author was too lazy to freaking Google constellations, so she just made up some BS.
Okay. Kim, I see. Smiles. Must be pretty nice and neat. Onceler, he seemed to like it pretty well. Shrugs again. Never really yawned, gotten to it myself, but... Kim, But what, Onceler? Onceler, shrugging again. I don't know. It's a pretty cool idea, you know? That all those stars are out there in the universe somewhere.
I think he's
preventing
high.
us from doing other things. Dude, man, they're called fingers, but I never see them fing.
Oh my gosh, I love you for that.
Onceler, yeah, it's almost kind of freaky when you think about it. Yeah, cool at the same time. Yawns again, putting a hand over his mouth to smother the noise. Hope he smothers something else. Kim smiles at him as she placed a hand over her mouth, as she yawned as well. Yeah, it sure is. Ipsqueak soon climbed onto the bed. Onceler smiling as Pipsqueak curled up on the pillow. I think someone might be getting a little sleepy as well. Kim smiles as she got into bed, as she looked at Pip. Aw, and he's getting all curled up and ready to fall asleep to dreamland too. To meet Kirby.
We only wish.
Walking over to pull down the covers and then slip under them. That makes two of us. But wait, he's sleeping in the middle of the only pillow. Kim, you're right, looking at the bed as she looked at the pillow. Of all places to sleep on the bed, he chooses our pillow. Onceler, giving Pipsqueak a small nudge. Hey, Pip, we need you to move. Pipsqueak, you awake? The Barbaloo just curled up more. So the Onceler scooped him up in his arms just as Pipsqueak began to wake up. But now the Onceler didn't want to wake the poor little guy up. He began humming a tentative lullaby, looking at Kim. Kim smiles at him as she begins to sing softly.
Well done, Kate.
Sleep, little balloon, dream of a land far away, full of truffula fruits that fill the
You
trees,
sound like
as it
Squidward.
rains marshmallows and gummies, as the river flows gently through the land. Sleep, little one, knowing you're not alone. We'll be here to look after you. Wow. Pipsqueak smiled, sighing as he fell back asleep. But he wasn't the only one. The Onceler's eyes drooped, lulled by the song Kim had sung. Kim smiled, seeing Pipsqueak going back to sleep. Onceler's sleepiness mumbling his words as he looked at Kim. You should, keep singing. Kim, looking at... Kim, looking at him as she smiled. Really, you like my song I sung to Pip? Onceler, nodding, as she smiled. It kind of reminded me of when my dad used to sing and play guitar to help me sleep sometimes. Kim smiles, alright, soon, began to sing again as she changed the lyrics a bit for him. Sleep, little one, see, let you drift off to dreamland, where the clouds are pancakes to munch and fly on. As the truffula trees have truffula fruit and marshmallows to enjoy all day, along as you rest among the trees.
Oh my god.
His eyes dropped again, falling down almost all the way, head slowly dipping down to rest against his chest. The Onceler yawned before smiling drowsily at Kim, letting his eyes close all the way. Kim smiling, as Kim kept singing the song outside. Meanwhile, Tom was coming back from his walk when he heard Kim singing. Tom, He peeked in the open window, smiling as he saw the two sitting on the bed. Kim was singing a lullaby to him, just like Tom had done so many years ago, and the song appeared to be working as Tom waited outside, not wanting to disturb him. The Onceler swayed a tiny bit, using the minimum of strength to keep himself upright. Kim singing. So sleep, little one. I'll be here to look after you. Let my love wrap around you, to protect you from what you fear. This story continuing. So sleep peacefully, Oncey, and know that I'm going to kill you in your sleep. Swaying one more time, the Onceler reached forward and put his arms around Kim, sagging against her. More asleep than awake now, he mumbled his incoherent thanks and nuzzled her cheek with his nose. Kim giggling as she smiled at him as she began to slowly fall asleep. Gravity pulled them down to the bed, and the Onceler smiling dreamily as he snuggled closer to her, finally sneaking all the way into sleep. Tom, seeing the two lying down, opened the door slowly, wincing at the small creak it made. Kim, asleep by Onceler's side as she slept peacefully. That's it! That's the freaking end! It's the end of the stupid chapter! The story's stupid!
Yes. But we still have to finish it.
No!
Yes.
Are we really gonna keep going?
We
Yeah,
can't-
we're gonna blitz this thing tonight.
We can't finish it if I spoil the ending. I'm going to part 30. Here we go. I'm going to spoil the ending.
Oh god, I wonder what could happen.
Just doing like a radio podcast thing.
Indeed, this is
Are
a
we gonna
fairy
keep
tale nobody will
stressing?
ever forget, and like all fairy tales, everyone lived happily ever after the end. There, I spoiled the ending.
Oh my god.
I spoiled the ending. It's over. We're done with
You
this
forgot the
trash.
part where they all died.
No, I didn't. I did that much earlier.
No, we're finishing it because we have to get our crappy fanfic badge from Kate. We have to do it legitimately. We're no hacks here, guys.
Yeah, we're hacking.
No, we're not.
Wish we were.
Fine. Part freaking 28.
Hang on, just
Ryan, are you still strumming?
Yeah.